and Recreation increased the $2 million, or 236%, but really that large increase is related to the Lane Park, which is offset by ARPA funds. And then we will talk about that as we talk to them today with this department. General debt service expenditures are expected to decrease 42%, and really what it is some of the leases that we have are expiring related to some IT equipment and other things, so that's good. Our debt's being paid off, so that's good. Staffing positions, as I mentioned at page 79, top you can see the summary of FTEs, and then we'll discuss it with the departments individually when they come up. Something to note that any step increases from current contracts are in here. There's also a factor in here built for the contracts that are currently under negotiation. The TGM and command being those two. So just keep that in mind too, that there is factors built in here for those. That being said, page 7, we start talking about special revenue funds. We list out what our special revenue funds are on top of page 7. Then we go and give you little highlights on page 7. As I'm kind of running out of time, so I kind of go through these quick. The major local Act 51 funds, their funds, like I said, we get state shared revenue for those funds, and those estimates on there are based on the state estimates. They do the same thing, is that they estimate what the fiscal year sales and tax are going to be, because that's where we get our revenue for Act 51, we get it from the roads, the use tax, and things like that from the roads. So the state does a good job estimating those amounts out for us. The Police and Fire Retirement Fund receives order approved equity report by levy, and the estimated budget for that is $11.3 million, which is pretty much on pace for this year. We did get our annual required contribution for a police and fire pension, and actually went down about 20 grand, so that's good, even though that we've had a pretty hectic financial economy, with the stock market and that, we still are keeping our contribution relatively the same between 2 years, so that's good.
What is our millage rate for the police and fire?
It's on page 10, but the police and fire millage rate right now currently is 9.0154 mils, and we're anticipating with the decrease from next year, it will be 8.9212. Okay, the next fund to talk about is the Building Grounds Fund, or the TBA fund, as sometimes it's referred to. Again, that is funded by village as well, and the anticipated village revenue is $4.1 million. Expenditures are approximately $5 million, with the fund balance being about $900,000 at the end of fiscal year 24. We'll talk to Guido about that more in detail tonight. Act 179 Rubbish Fund has also dedicated villages for the collection of rubbish and for the operation of the compost animal shelters. The fund is projected to use about $1 million in fund balance. The ending fund balance at fiscal year 24 is estimated to be about $1.7 million, or 24% of revenues. So not looking too bad there. Building Department Fund, which we talked about before, funds the inspections and the permits. Total estimated revenue is expected to be $2.4 million. While the expenditures are around $2.4 million as well. So it's a balanced fund with approximate $198,000 of fund balance left over at fiscal year 24, which is 8.1% of total revenues. And then again, on top page 8, we talked about the opioid settlement fund. Page 8 in the middle is our enterprise funds. We have 4 of them. We have the golf course, the sewer, the water, and the Ecorse Creek Fund. And I think because of interest of time, we'll go more into details with them when we talk to them when they're up for their presentation. I think they're all tomorrow. So, but again, the golf course fund is doing well compared to what it has been doing, so that's a good sign. But we'll talk more in detail with the department when they present their budgets. Now the fun stuff, or the easy stuff, page 9. This gives you a graph of the SEV, or the state equalized value of the city, versus its taxable value. The only thing I always like to point out on this graph is, as you can see, as the higher the dotted line is the SEV, as that increases, it's been increasing a lot between 2017 and 23. Significantly, our taxable values have not increased that significant because of state legislation related to heavily and proposal A. So just keep that in mind when we talk about the difference between assessed value and taxable value. Page 10 is the estimated millage rate for the city-only taxes. And as you can see, we don't have any changes yet, but I do expect some changes with the Henley calculations. The only change was what I said before was related to the Act 345 precinct fire millage. All right. Page 11 is always a fun one I like to put into the document. It gives you a comparison between the city of Taylor tax rates and surrounding communities. This is total taxes, so it includes the city portion, county portion, school. I don't believe it includes school operating, but it includes like any school debt fund and things like that. As you can see, we're just, we're on the good side of the middle. But you can see the communities who have the lower tax rate versus the community that has the higher tax rates. I don't think there's really any surprises in there, but I think it's a good graph to have that people can see. Page 12 is the tax revenue by jurisdiction. So I think we always kind of talk about this during the audit presentation, but what you see there is the average homeowner that has about $50,000 tax value will pay approximately $2,600 in taxes. Of that, approximately 49% goes to the city. The rest goes to other jurisdictions, the county, the school, and then other authorities like the jails, the parks, and here on Clinton Metro Authority. So a good thing to note here is that while we do collect taxes for all these jurisdictions, only a little bit less than 50% stays with the city. So I always like to show that presentation in this document. Page 13 is the general fund revenues by section. So as you can see, our largest revenue source is taxes and special assessment. Then it's followed up by state sharing revenue, and then other revenues and charges for services, and then fines and forfeitures. So again, a good graph to show where our funding is coming from. All right. Page 14 is the opposite. It's our expenditures by activity. So you can see where the money is going out, and approximately 40% of our money go for public safety. This is all just general fund as well, too. These numbers are general fund only. 30% is general government, and then about 11.6% is recreational and cultural. All right. Page 15 is just expenditures for general fund again by type, and as you can see, approximately 56% of our expenditures related to wages and benefits. And what I like to show this graph for is to show that we are a service entity. So most of our expenses are related to wages and benefits. And then secondly, our other services, which is professional services, contractual services, and things like that. So that's why I like to show that graph on here so that you can see that most of our budget is wages and benefits. Okay, Mr. Chairman, the rest of the document is really the detail of the budget. And then we'll go over these numbers more with the department heads. And like anything else, I'll be going over everything myself with you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you have questions later, just email me, and I'll facilitate with the departments, get those answers for you guys.
Before we move to community development, any